Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me today. Um, you can see I have the Bumpers, I have Sam, and I have Fritz joining us. Hopefully they will come and sit down, but let's all start in a nice, comfortable cross-legged seat on our mat. Some props that you may need are, or that you might like to have handy. Again, they're completely optional. They're not required by any means. But some props that you might like to have are not dogs, yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't, no worries. You can use like textbooks or anything big to bring the floor up to you. Excuse you. Blankets, not necessarily for dogs. They're everywhere. But like just, and it could be any type of blanket. It doesn't have to be a yoga blanket. A bolster, or you can do like a pillow, anything like that. So if you have not already, go ahead and grab your stuff. If you don't have anything, again, don't worry about it. You don't necessarily need it. If you do have a blanket, this first place that we're going is a good place to use it. So just a regular towel or blanket, and throw it down on the mat, and we're just going to use it to come sit on. And you just want to come into a nice, comfortable, cross-legged seat. Okay, guys, go on. Go sit down, please. Go sit down and lay down. So we'll take a few moments to get centered and to breathe. I'm going to try and keep these guys out of my face for a moment. They are very needy today, apparently. And we're going to start to just bring some awareness into our bodies. So I don't know, we have lots of different people practicing, and I'm not sure what everyone's schedule was or week has looked like so far or anything like that. So just let anything that you have been experiencing here, just let it go. And we're going to come back into our bodies and bring some self-awareness. So in your cross-legged seat, we're going to start by just rubbing our hands together. It's going to probably feel a little awkward for a while. We're just going to rub. You can rub different ways, whatever feels good. We're going to bring it some heat. The other thing that this is doing, it is also, okay, you guys can leave if you're going to do this. Nope, you can get out. You can leave if you're going to do this, or you can sit down. Sorry? The other thing that this does is it unites our left and our right sides of our brain, so our feminine and our masculine. So we're going to bring, hey, no, go on. So we're going to unite both sides, bringing balance. Keep breathing. You should feel some nice heat building up. Just a little bit longer. He doesn't want to play, Fritz. Go on. Okay, out. Both of you out. Keep rubbing. Out. Sam, go on. Go by. Okay, you can sit there. That's fine. You can sit next to him, Fritz. No. You can sit next to him or you can leave. Go on. I have nothing for you. He thinks I have something for you. Go on. Goodbye. All right. One more big inhale here. Exhale. Take your hands apart and then gently just bring both hands to your chest, to your heart space. If it feels comfortable to you, you can close down the eyes and we'll just take a few breaths here. Just taking a moment to get centered and focused and to bring that awareness back into ourselves. You might feel some tingling or some heat from your hands on your chest space. You might even like to set a little intention right now. And if not, that's okay too. Okay, one more big inhale. And on the exhale, go ahead and let it go. All right, you can bring your palms down to your knees, and we're gonna start to warm up the rest of the body. So we're gonna start with just some nice gentle neck circles. So just start small and then gradually start to widen your circle, making your circle bigger. And as you do this, really be aware of the movement in your body. So this is a practice just to bring awareness back to ourselves. I don't know if you've ever been driving somewhere, maybe driving home from work or the store or something like that, and you zone out and then you open up your eyes and then you're home and you're like, how did I get here? I've done it, you've done it, then you're not alone. But a lot of times we go through life like that too. All right, and go ahead and reverse your other circle. If it was really wide, start where you were and then bring it closer into center. So just nice and gentle. You don't have to throw your head around. But a lot of times we go through life just kind of on autopilot, the same autopilot. We're not living intentionally. We're not living with awareness of what we're doing or why we're doing something. All right, once you come to that little point in the middle, go ahead and stop. And then we're going to stretch out our back just a little bit. So from your seated position, go ahead and just crawl your hands forward. Now you might stay up. If you'd like to go down further, then you can bring your forearms to the mat or the ground in front of you. If you'd like to go really into it, you can even bring your head down to the floor. If it doesn't reach, that's okay too. Just go to where it feels comfortable to you. You should be feeling a nice stretch in your back. But yeah, sometimes we go through life and we're replaying these patterns from our families. And, you know, sometimes those same patterns aren't good for us. They don't serve us. They don't support the life that we want or that we're trying to build. So being aware of those triggers is helpful, so that way you can interrupt the pattern and make different choices. So that's really what the practice is meant to accomplish today, to kind of bring awareness back to ourselves. We're going to do some balancing poses, we'll flow a little bit, and just bring you back to yourself. And living on autopilot can be through so many different things. It could be through eating mindlessly, alcohol, drugs, shopping, TV, scrolling. There's so many different things, and it's different for every person. Or it could be just someone says something that's triggering to you, and instead of pausing and thinking, you react instead of responding. And just doing something to really interrupt those patterns can help to bring more awareness. You can slowly start to walk yourself back up. I know for me, I will sometimes zone out if I start feeling a little uncomfortable, and I'll go to the cupboard, grab chips, grab something to eat, even if I'm not hungry. And then the next thing I know, it's gone. Ice cream, chips, things like that. You're just eating and eating and eating and eating. And you don't know why. And it's because you're trying to fill something, and that whatever it is that you are dumping into it is not going to fulfill that. Instead, you have to, and what's helped me is stopping. Like I go to the cupboard, that track is still going. I'll go to the cupboard, look at it, and I have to stop and I have to pause and breathe and say, am I really hungry, or is there some other emotion going on under this that's driving me here, that I'm just going here and I'm not even thinking about it, not even conscious about it. And then you have to redirect that energy. Well, what else can you do with it? If I'm upset or I'm sad or I'm mad, instead of, going and shoving my face full of chips mindlessly that I didn't really want to do, that doesn't help the situation at all. Instead, I can go maybe take these guys for a walk. I'm not going for a walk right now, don't pop up. Or maybe I go and dance around the living room or do some yoga or meditate or something else. Just finding something else to replace it with can really help. Just so you come back into this space, so you can stop. And then I can, after I am recentered and focused, then I can go back to whatever issue was driving them and address it. I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress, but that is what yoga is also. It's a practice. It's not perfection. So many people think it's perfection and I have to nail the poses. And we're going to do some difficult ones here later. So don't get discouraged if you don't nail it 100%. Just try your best, play, practice, have fun with it, and just know that it's another tool that you can put on your tool belt of life. The tool belt of life, oh, it's terrible. Just to cope with stresses of every day. We all have them. Some have different ones than others, but it doesn't make them any more or less valid. All right, enough of my talking. Let's go ahead and bring some awareness. Every move you do, really focus on the move. Feel it in your body. Be aware. That's all I ask. Doesn't have to be perfect, but really feel into it. All right, let's go ahead and get on to the flowy part. So let's go on to all fours. Nice tabletop position. If you have sensitive knees or a hardwood floor, your mat's not super thick, you can use a blanket here or a towel or just whatever you have to pad your knees. You could also kind of double up on the mat if you would like to, just kind of fold it. I'm going to remove my blanket. I'm actually going to move it up here. Okay, Fritz, here. I'm going to remove a Fritz. If you have any animals, you can remove them as well. There you go, you can stay there. All right, nice tabletop position. So hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hip points. From here, go ahead and tuck your toes under, and actually, let's go ahead and tuck your toes under. We're gonna walk our hands just one handprint in front of where they were. From here, really press into your thumb, your pointer finger and your middle finger. Take a nice big inhale in. And on your exhale, lift the knees up off the ground, start to straighten through the legs, push up through the arms, and we're going to reach forward, back and down, or back and down, up, back and down, and we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. From here, go ahead and pedal the feet a little bit, just bending one knee and then the other. And after a few breaths, go ahead and bring that to stillness, and then just really feel that energy coming up from the ground through your hands. Feel it rise up through your body, and then feel it just kind of cascading down the backs of your legs back into the ground. And breathe. After your next exhale, go ahead and really bring that, make sure that your left foot is firmly planted to the mat. On an inhale, we'll lift our right leg up towards the sky, Exhale, bend through the knees, shift forward, look forward, and we're gonna step that right foot in between our hands. Go ahead and lower onto your left knee and untuck your toes. And from here, I'm gonna fix my shirt, and we're gonna go into a lunge. So in this lunge, your front leg, so my right knee is gonna be at a nice 90-degree angle. 90 degrees. You should feel a nice stretch on the front of that left quad or whatever foot is back. And then as you're forward, you want to make sure that you have a nice lift in your chest. The other thing you should do, make sure that your knee is not coming in. You want to make sure it's pressing out so you can see your big toe. Now, if your fingertips or palms can't get to the ground without like really lowering and going into it, you can use blocks to bring the floor up to you. We'll breathe here for just a moment. Take one more inhale. And then on the exhale, go ahead and start to shift your hips back. Peel those right toes up off the mat, and you can walk your hands back, and we're going to come into a nice hamstring stretch. So make sure, again, to keep a length in your spine, chest nice up and lifted, and you should feel a nice stretch in the back of your hamstrings there. Keep your toes pointed up towards your forehead. Be sure to keep breathing. All right, and then one more inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and roll forward through that front foot, coming back into the lunge. We'll stay here for just a couple breaths. Really make sure to pull that right hip crease back and bring that left hip crease forward. So you should feel kind of an opposing force in your hips here. All right, on your next inhale, go ahead and make sure your hands are firmly planted to the mat. Tuck your left toes under, so inhale. Exhale, we're going to lift that left foot up, so really flex through that foot and make sure that you are really back through that heel, like pushing back through that heel, kind of like a plank. Okay. From here, make sure your left palm is firmly on the ground on the inside of your right foot. Take a big inhale here, and then on an exhale, go ahead and twist towards your right leg, your leg that's in front. Now you can stay here in this twist, or you can lift those right fingertips up towards the ceiling. And breathe. When you're here, make sure that your neck isn't collapsing. It should be nice in line with the spine. And you can turn and look up at your fingers. We'll take one more big inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and lower back to your lunge. And we're going to step our right foot back to meet our left and come into our first plank of the day. Now, if this is a bit too much, you can drop down to your knees. Just make sure your back is nice and straight and you're still in that plank pose and you're not like dipping through your center. You're not raising up into a tabletop. So you should be on a little bit of an angle if you're on your knees. Otherwise, if you're on your toes, really press back through the heels. Make sure your spine is nice and straight and long. Breathe. One more big breath here. And on the exhale, we'll lower down to the mat. Now you can come down to your knees and then lower down, or you can lower down in one straight line. Whew. From here, we'll untuck our toes, lay our feet nice and flat on the mat. And then on an inhale, make sure your hands are right underneath or in line with your rib cage, elbows in. We'll take one inhale here. And then on the exhale, slowly roll up and just look forward. So we're going to start in a nice baby cobra. We will graduate. However, if it is not in your body to go further, then just stay in this baby cobra as we go through a couple other flows later. Take one more big inhale here. And on an exhale, go ahead and lower that forehead to the mat. Now from here, I'll give you a couple options, and you can do this throughout class. So I'll only kind of call some of these things out once today, and then I'll let you kind of choose your own adventure. So we're going to inhale, and then on the exhale, you can either push yourself to all fours, and we're going to go back into a downward facing dog, so you can come up to all fours like we started class with today, and then into the downward facing dog. Or we'll inhale, and then on the exhale, you can push through the hands and tuck your toes under, and we'll power up into a plank pose. So again, it's going to be up to you. We'll take another breath here, and then on the exhale, we'll shift our hips up, back, and down, coming into our downward facing dog. I'm going to come up a little bit because my mat moved. And then from here, we'll just breathe. Again, really feeling into the mat with our hands and our feet. Big inhale here. Exhale, we'll just sigh it all out. All right, we got another side to do. So your next inhale, go ahead and lift your left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, bend through that knee, shift forward, look forward, and we're going to step our left foot in between our palms, lowering down on that right leg. Coming back into that low lunge. Again, use any props that you need. We'll breathe here for just a moment. Take one more inhale here. And you might have to scoot your leg back. Mine wasn't. So I don't know if you saw that. But my knee was not really quite in alignment. All right, inhale here. Exhale, we'll go ahead and peel those hips back, or shift our hips back, peel our left toes up off the mat. Toes pointing towards our forehead, and again, you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring here. And breathe. We'll take one more breath here. And then exhale, go ahead and come back into that low lunge. Again, lifting the chest, nice 90-degree in that front leg. Make sure you can see your big toe. Okay, on your next inhale, we'll go ahead and tuck the toes under of our right foot. Exhale, lift that right knee up off the ground. Plant our right hand on the inside of our left foot. Inhale, you can turn to look towards your left knee. And then on the exhale, go ahead and journey into that twist. Lifting our left hand up towards the sky. And breathe. We'll take one more inhale here. And then on the exhale, lower that arm back to the mat. We're going to step our left leg back to meet our right, coming back into that plank. And then just breathe here. One more inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to your mat. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and rise up. Now you can stay in a baby cobra, or you can push through your palms and your hands and rise up. Make sure that your hip points are still touching the ground. Feet nice and rooted into the mat, the tops of your feet. And then make sure that your shoulders aren't creeping up to your ears. Shoulders should be up, back, and down. Heart coming forward. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, go ahead and let it all go. All right, from here, go ahead and push back to all fours. Bring your knees as wide as the mat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, we're going to shift our hips back, sinking down. You can walk your fingertips forward. We're going to come into a child's pose. So you can lower your forehead down to the mat. And then from here, just take a few moments to breathe, just getting off the wrists for a little bit. One more big inhale here. Exhale, let it all go. And then we'll go ahead and return back to our tabletop position. Now, if you are in a true tabletop position, go ahead and walk your handprint just one handprint ahead of where it was. We're going to tuck our toes once again. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, lift up through the hips. Shoot them up, back, and down. And we're going to come back into our downward facing dog. And again, just take a few breaths here. Your next inhale, go ahead and look forward. And then on your exhale, we're going to make our way to the top of the mat. So you can hop, step, jump, float, however you would like to reach it. Make your way there. Again, this is another place where you can use blocks to bring the floor up to you. You want to make sure that you have a nice straight back. You don't want to be rounding through it and coming in. You want a nice straight back. Inhale, we'll come up halfway flat back. Exhale, go ahead and let it all go. Just hang here for a moment. We'll take a couple breaths. No, that's not a good place for standing. All right, we'll take one more big inhale here. And on an exhale, go ahead and roll it all the way up to standing. Loop your shoulders up, back, and down. Fix your clothes, fix your hair. And we're going to move into stillness. So we're going to move into a mountain pose. So make sure your feet are nice and firmly planted in the mat. Chest nice and lifted. Thumbs pointing forward. You might even close your eyes. I know sometimes when I close my eyes, it helps with really connecting back into my body. I don't have all this sensory stuff around me. All right, on your next inhale, go ahead and reach your arms up to the ceiling. Exhale, shift your hips back. Start to float forward, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, come up halfway flat back. Exhale, let it all go. And we'll just breathe here for a moment, for just a few breaths. All right, so from here, wherever you're at, we're going to go ahead and step our right foot back, and we're going to come into a lunge again, but this time it's going to be a high lunge. I'm going to try and stand here. So just step back, and then on an inhale, rise up. Come up through your center. Again, your left leg should be at a nice 90-degree angle. Hey, quit ripping up my mat, sir. And And then your hands can be on your hips, or you can bring them up overhead, whatever feels good to you. And breathe. From here, go ahead and lower the arms. Step your right leg in a little bit and turn your toes out kind of at a 45-degree angle so they're pointing towards the right edge of your mat. From here, you're going to spin to face the long edge of your mat. Let me turn around. Come on, move. Move, move, sir. So I'm going to turn so I'm facing you. So we're going to come into a warrior two. So we're going to bend that right knee, or sorry, left knee. Right toes are pointing towards the right edge of your mat. You're going to turn towards the long edge of your mat. And then you can reach your arms out to either side. Now when you're here, pretend you have a pencil in between your shoulder blades and you're trying to hold it here. So you shouldn't be feeling a big tug forward or back, just right here in the middle. And breathe. You can look over past your left fingertips. From here, go ahead and straighten through that left foot or left leg. Keep a little bit of a bend in it so you don't want to lock it out, so a little bend. And then we'll drop our right fingers, bring our left fingers up towards the ceiling, looking at them, spinning our chest up towards that ceiling into a reverse triangle, and breathe. One more big inhale here. And on the exhale, go ahead and return it back to your warrior two. I'm going to spin back around here. And then from here, we'll go ahead and drop that right palm. You're going to reach your right hand forward, pivot on that right foot. So we're coming back into our lunge. Can you move, please? Come on, move out. And then from here, go ahead and lower your palms to the floor. And then make sure they're nice and pressed in there. We're going to take our left foot, step it back to meet our right, coming back into that plank again. From here, just breathe. Take a few breaths. Take one more inhale here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and lower all the way back down to your mat. Woo! Inhale, rise up into your cobra. Whatever that means to you. One more inhale here. Exhale, lower back down towards the mat. We'll go ahead and tuck our toes under. Inhale, we'll press up to all fours. And then on the exhale, go ahead and shift your hips up, back, and down, coming back into that downward facing dog again. And we'll take just a couple breaths here. All right, from here, let's go ahead and lift our right leg up towards the sky. And on your next exhale, we'll go ahead and bend through that knee, bringing it forward, shifting forward, and we'll step that foot in between our hands, leaving our left leg up and extended. On an inhale, go ahead and rise up. We're going to come into that nice high lunge. Again, nice 90-degree bend in your right leg. You can lift your hands up towards the sky, or you can just leave them down or at palm center, wherever it feels good to you. And breathe. All right, go ahead and lower your hands down. Go ahead and pivot on that left foot. You can step it in a little bit. Keep that at a 45-degree angle. pointed towards the left edge of your mat. Turn your torso towards the long edge of your mat. And again, you can stay here, or we can lift our arms out to the side, pinching that pencil in between our shoulder blades. And you can look out over your right palms, warrior two, and breathe. On your next inhale, go ahead and straighten through that right leg. We'll drop our left palm down, bringing our right palm up overhead, gazing at it. Nice reverse triangle, and breathe. You should feel a nice stretch in that side body. All right, inhale, go ahead and return back to that warrior two. Drop our left palm down, pivot on that left foot, coming back into that high lunge. One more inhale here. Exhale, let's go ahead and lower it back down. So bringing our hands to the mat. Step your right foot back to meet your left foot, coming back into a plank once again. And breathe. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, go ahead and lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, rise up, cobra. Take just a couple breaths here, really feel into it. And on your next exhale, go ahead and lower back down to the mat. Inhale, come up to all fours, tucking the toes. Exhale, move back into your downward facing dog. We'll take just a couple breaths here. Inhale, look forward at your palms. We're going to make our way to the top of the mat so you can hop, step, jump, float, however you'd like to get there. Inhale, come up halfway, nice flat back. Exhale, let it all go. And breathe. Take one more big inhale here. And on the exhale, go ahead and slowly roll it all the way up, looping your shoulders up, back, and down. We're going to bring it into stillness, coming into our mountain pose. Whew. All right. So wherever you're at, go ahead and widen your stance a little bit. And we're going to start to sway side to side, bringing your heel up off the floor. So you can kind of imagine like you're wearing a sweater, but your arms aren't through the sleeves and you're just kind of moving it back and forth. Make sure to smile while you're doing this. You can leave your hands out away from you, or you can start to bring them in, and you can give your booty a smack and your hip, the front of your hip a smack. And it's just really light, not like, don't beat yourself up doing this. This is called knocking on heaven's door, and it looks a little silly, but it's a fun move. And what this is used for is just to break up any old and stagnant energy that is in the body. There are multiple modalities that use this. So it's not just a yoga thing. It's also used in Qigong, Tai Chi, or a version of it. So it's been around for a while. And you can go as fast or as slow as you want. Maybe get a little crazy. You can just spin in a circle. Even just moving side to side, swaying. We moved the body, we heated it up. Then we're going to break up that stale energy. We want to leave it on the mat. We don't want to do things just because that's the way it's always been done in our family. I heard a story one time about somebody who was cooking something and they always put like some odd ingredient that had like nothing to do with the recipe in it. And they were asked why, and they said, well, because that's the way my mother did it and grandma did it and everyone's always done it. So then they asked that individual why they did it, and they said, oh, well, it's because I didn't have this and we ran out of that, so I just did it because that's what was there at the time. And I think that relates to a lot of stuff in our family. Sometimes in our family history, you know, they did the best with what they had at the time. And as we move forward and evolve and new generations come up, things change, things are different. So you don't always have to do things the same way. Yes, it could be nice for nostalgia purposes, but maybe there's a different or a better way of doing things, especially if you're doing something that isn't great for you, that isn't serving you. But the key is to become aware of it first, and then once you're aware of it, then you can break that pattern and that habit. All right, start to slow it down. Bring your hands away. Go ahead and bring your feet back centered. Whew. Maybe even close your eyes. Feel that rush of energy through your body. From here, let's flush it out a little more. Inhale, reach up towards the sky. Exhale, float it forward, coming back into our forward fold. Letting it all go. Inhale, halfway flat back. Exhale, let it all go. All right, inhale, roll back up to your standing position. So we're gonna go back into a mountain pose. Now I'll stay on this long edge of the mat. I'm gonna turn around a lot for you guys watching. Depending on your space, you may wanna be focused towards the short edge of your mat. That way you have this back edge here. If you, stay on the short edge of your mat. So I'm gonna move to the long end just so you can see me. So we're gonna go into some balancing postures. So from here, make sure you're nice and grounded into the mat, and then shift your weight to your right foot. Now don't dump your weight into your right foot, just shift it. So there's a difference. So I'm shifted versus dumping. You can see I get the Beyonce hip. You don't want that. So nice and lifted through your center, through your core. From here, go ahead and lift the heel up off the ground, coming onto your toes. And then maybe from there, you lift that knee up. Standing one-legged Tadasana. If I go to the side, you might be able to see it a little better. And breathe. And if you fall out of it, that is okay. Don't stress out about it. Right, from here, go ahead and bring your palms to heart center. Inhale, look forward, find a spot on the ground that you can concentrate on. And then from here, go ahead and start to reach that left leg back, bringing your torso forward, and we're going to come into kind of a warrior three. Keep your toes pointed in towards the ground, and if this doesn't feel good in your body, just bring your toes down to the mat, and then just stay forward here, working towards that. Now on your standing leg, there should be a slight bend. Whoop. And if you fall out of it, don't worry about it. Shake it off. We'll try it again. Now your hands, you can leave them at heart center. Maybe you bring them out behind you like airplane arms, Or if you want to go into the full pose, go ahead and reach your arms forward and breathe. Whew. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, go ahead and return to center. Now keep, if you can, keep your foot up. Otherwise, maybe touch it down for a moment. From here, let me turn back this way. We're gonna lift our foot up, and then if you can cross the ankle over your knee. That doesn't feel good to you, then just bring your foot across your feet, or cross at the ankles, like this with your feet on the ground. Now if you're here, and it feels good to you, you can start to come into a one-legged forward fold, bringing your hands down to the mat, or if you have blocks, these handy dandy blocks here. So again, do what feels good to you. Breathe, don't hold your breath. Right, then on an inhale, we'll make our way back up. Power through that. And if you fall out of it like I did, that's fine. Bring your hands back to heart center. And we're going to lift that left knee back up and do our standing one-legged mountain pose, one-legged Tadasana. Take a couple breaths here. Exhale, go ahead and lower that left foot to the floor. And then shake it out. Probably would have been better to do knocking on heaven's door after this, but that's okay. Just shake it out. How did you do? If it wasn't perfect, again, don't stress out about it. Don't worry about it. You are where you need to be. You can work up towards it. So you're building strength, you're working towards that final posture. What you did today was great. All right, we have to do the other side. So take a big breath in, exhale, sigh it out. Let it go. Whatever happened on the other side, let it go. New side. All right, so we're gonna shift our weight to our left foot. Again, make sure you're not dumping. Peel that heel up off the mat. Toes pointed towards the ground, and then slowly we'll lift our leg up 90-degree angle, standing one-legged Tadasana, and breathe. I'll turn to the side. Hands can be heart center, can be on the hips, you can bring them up. And one more big inhale here. And then on the exhale, we're going to shift that leg back, shifting our torso forward. Again, find a spot on the ground that's not moving that will help you with your balance. Palms can be at heart center. They can be back in like airplane arms, or you can reach them forward. Make sure your toes are pointed down towards the mat, and breathe. One more big inhale here. And on an exhale, let's return it back to center. See if you can keep that foot up, if you can. Bring it through, and then you can bring that foot to rest right above the knee on your left foot. Otherwise, cross it over. Inhale, and then on an exhale, go ahead and journey down into that forward fold. And breathe. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, bend through that left knee, and then we'll slowly rise up. Woo! And then you need the wall. And then you can uncross that leg. We're going to come back into that standing one-legged Tadasana. Breathe here for just a moment. Nice core strength here. One more inhale. And on the exhale, go ahead and lower it down. Let it all go. Shake it out. How'd you do on that side? So our balance can vary from side to side. So if you did well on one side, not the other, that's okay. It can also vary day to day. It's going to depend on how much sleep you had, what you've been doing throughout the day, if you work out and you're sore. I had a cardio day, so I'm not super sore in my legs, but that's going to help. And it's also going to work your core. No crunches required. All right, go ahead and bring your feet really wide. Turn your toes out. Hands to your waist. Chest up and lifted. We just did a really badass flow there. It's really difficult and really tough. Even if you didn't stay in it the whole time, that's okay. You were awesome. Just remember that. Reach your arms up to the sides, going into a 5-point star. So we're giving ourselves a gold star for today. We tried something different. We embraced change. We got out of our comfort zones with those balancing postures. So, bye autopilot. That's definitely not something that you can do on autopilot. You have to be so focused and so aware. So give yourself a nice big star. Take up space. Stretch through your limbs. Exhale, let it all go. Heel toe your feet together. We're going to come up to the mat. So we have another little flow. One last one before we transition onto our back and close. So we'll come back up to the front of our mat. Inhale, hands up towards the ceiling. Exhale, shift your hips back, coming back into that forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, let it all go. And we'll breathe here for just a moment again. All right, and then we're gonna step one foot back, then the other, coming back into our final plank pose. So make it the best plank pose of all day. Really push through your hands, push through those heels, keep your back nice and straight. Maybe whisper to yourself, I am strong, because you are. One more big inhale here. Exhale, lower it all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes. Inhale, rise up, look forward, cobra. We'll breathe here for just a moment. Exhale, lower it all back down. All right, inhale, tuck your toes. Exhale, push up to a plank. Another big inhale. Exhale, shift your hips up, back and down. Downward facing dog. And breathe. One more big inhale here. Exhale, sigh it out, let it go. And then we'll go ahead and lower down to our knees. Cross up the ankles, come through to a nice seat. Okay, from here, go ahead and spread your legs out in front of you. You can lower back down onto your back. I'm going to move those out of the way a little bit. Okay. From here, bring your right knee into your chest, left leg extended. And then you can cross that right leg over the left. Extend your right arm out. I'm going to pet a Fritz while I'm here. He's right here. And then look out towards that right hand. So a nice little supine twist. I like to put my foot on the inside of my thigh. Make sure that your right shoulder blade is still making contact with the floor. If it's coming up at all, then come out of that twist a little bit. And then also, I like to use you can leave your left arm out at like a big Texas T. I like to put my left hand just gently on that thigh, but I'm not pulling it. So just make sure you're not pulling it. One more inhale here. And exhale, go ahead and bring that back to center and then extend that right leg back out. From here, we'll go ahead and pull our left leg into our chest. Take one more inhale here. And then on the exhale, we'll go ahead and twist towards the right, bringing that left leg across that right foot. Then you can turn onto your left ear, looking at your left palm. The hand that should be extended straight out from your shoulder. And make sure to keep breathing. Left shoulder blade should still be on the ground. One more big inhale here. Exhale, return back to center. Now, instead of extending your left leg out, go ahead and just bring your foot to the floor and then bring your right foot into the floor. From here, we're going to just rise up. We're going to stretch out our back, work our glute for just a moment. Go ahead and place your palms flat on the mat. Inhale, look up, and then we're going to start to roll up through the spine. So we're going to lift up through the tailbone and then up through each vertebrae until we're in a nice bridge pose. Now, if this is a little much for you, you can bring a block and you can have a nice kind of reclining bridge pose like this. Or you can come up to the full pose and then just stay here. Now make sure that your chest is towards your chin, chin is towards the sky, so you should still have length in your neck and in your spine. Just breathe here. Not that we didn't work our legs enough today. One more inhale here. Exhale, go ahead and lower back down towards the mat. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. Bring your knees into the chest and give yourself a nice big hug. Breathe. Feel that stretch in the back body. You can lean your head down if it feels better to you. You can lift your head up and towards the knees. Squeeze into it. Actually, I'll have everyone go ahead. Let's squeeze into a nice little ball. Squeeze tight, tight, tight. Squeeze. Flex your toes. Bring your hands into fist. Tight, 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 tight. And then let it all go. Bring your feet as wide as the mat. Hands as wide as the mat. Head down. Let everything just splay open. We're going to go ahead and transition into our final resting pose. So if you do use any props for Shavasana, you'd like a blanket to cover up with, or something to pad your head with, or if you have an eye pillow for your eyes, feel free to grab any of those things and get into your most comfortable Shavasana ever, your most comfortable Shavasana ever. Otherwise, just go ahead and close down the eyes. Focus on the breath. Feel the benefits of today's practices marinating in your body. Thank your body for everything it was able to do for you today. Thank yourself for taking the time to get some activity in and just stretch and just take time for self-care. Right, I'm going to go quiet for just a little bit and let you rest in Shavasana. I will bring you out of the pose shortly. So the card I pulled for today's practice was Rabbit Spirit, and it says now is a lucky time. It says a sunny meadow calls, and Rabbit Spirit appears to lead you out of your dark warren and into the light, so that you can participate in a fertile and beautiful experience. It may seem safe below ground, but the magic happens when you come out and take the risk of being vulnerable and co-creating something new. You are being invited into a new life that you have no experience with, but have no fear. Today is also a time to be fruitful and productive as you enjoy Rabbit Spirit's sunny and prolific energy. At this time, whatever you intend to bring to life will find fertile ground. There are no mistakes, really, when you are co-creating with Spirit. So let new ideas spring to the surface, knowing that now is a lucky time of tremendous possibility. It's a very nice message for today. All right, so if you are able to stay in Shavasana, stay as long as time allows you. Otherwise, if you need to get going, then slowly start to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle fingers and toes, just bringing life back into them. You place your feet on the mat, knees bent. And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and roll to your favorite side and come into a nice little fetal position. And when you're ready, go ahead and push yourself up to, or rise up to a nice seated position. Don't push yourself, don't force it, just nice and gentle. Bring your head and neck up last. So again, thank you so much for spending this time with me and your energy and your practice. I really appreciate it. Know that you create your own path. You don't have to do what your parents did, what your grandmother did, what everyone else did in your family. And really be mindful just as you move throughout your life. Don't live your life on autopilot. You miss so much. So hopefully this inspires you to practice mindfulness in all areas of your life, and that will open up some new possibilities for you. Again, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I will see you next week for our free February practice. Take care. Namaste.